for you.
A man sits in a corner. He hasn't slept for 3 days. He's struggling with the 29th version of speech. A week remains before he has to stand before an intimidating crowd. This amplifies the pressure on this man. Finally, the fateful moment arrives. The man finds himself standing in front of a colossal audience, sweat on his palms and forehead. His mouth feels dry, his head feels feverish, his stomach rebels. But still, he opens his mouth. This man wants to inspire this crowd, wants to change the world. Into it. He starts a speech, but to his horror, no words come out. He starts crumbling under the stress. How did men like Winston Churchill and Martin Luther King Jr. deal with this kind of pressure? He wonders. I'm sure everyone in this room can sympathize with this man. And so did great speakers like Winston Churchill or Martin Luther King Jr. Yet they both moved great audiences and helped shape the world despite all the pressure and stress that they went through. In fact, they used that stress to their advantage. Is it really fair to treat stress as a parasite, as an enemy? Many say yes. But I say no. Don't relieve stress. Use it, control it, harness it. A person can harness stress through 2 stages, objectifying and jibing. When objectifying, a person should identify the source of the stress and determine whether that stress is really necessary. As Alfred Hitchcock said, it's what we don't see which is truly frightening. Unobjectified stress appears much bigger than it should. Objectifying our stress simply lifts the veil and shows us the reality. When I was putting this speech on paper, nothing was working. The stress soon became unbearable. I needed a break. During that break, I found the 2 sources of my stress. 1, I was too obsessed with making my speech perfect, and 2, with winning on a word. But getting stressed about being perfect doesn't work for anybody. It actually stops you from being even mediocre. As for an award, well, who wouldn't want one? Yet getting an award shouldn't be the motive. I joined this competition and put myself into this stressful situation because I wanted to improve as a speaker. And just like that, I objectified my situation. Next, jibing is a nautical term that means to alter the course of a boat with a turn of the sail. Here the sail refers to a person's mind, and the boat's course is the direction in which the mind is going. Jibing is thus switching the mind's focus from the demotivational side of stress to the healthy and self-improving side. Studies by psychologist Elia Crum show that people who are trained to shift their focus experience drastic increases in productivity and well-being. As you can see, jibing is the difference between the wind pushing your boat back and the wind filling your sail. Once I realized this, my attitude shifted. I realized that I was participating in this competition to hone my skills as a speaker. I thought to myself, wouldn't Churchill or King have used this stress to their advantage? If these men hadn't gone through stressful trials, could they have delivered such moving speeches? I refuse to see my stress as a negative, instead viewing it as a necessary process, a motivator, and even a coach. And just like that, I objectified and used my stress to my advantage. Stress, however, does not disappear into thin air. People will always carry stress on their shoulders. How a person views this stress is what makes the difference. The wheels on the bus go round and round, but the bus on the wheels moves forward. What's important is whether somebody's at the steering wheel. Each of us can take control of our steering wheel, take control of our stress, and harness it To do this, we need to learn how to objectify and how to jibe. Once we master this, there's one less thing to be stressed about. Thank you very much.
Are you really a nervous person?
You think so? Well,
No, that's not my question. I'm just asking. Well, my question is open-ended. How are you judging this competition? What are positives or negatives of joining this competition?
well, I'll go with negatives first because that's always what people want to hear first before the positive. This competition is actually very effort-inspiring. It actually took a lot of time from the usual projects or activities that I would do. For example, I like to go watch movies, but since I was working on this every weekend, even if my friends called me up, I refused their offers to go watch the newest action movie or something because I told them I was preparing for this. They eventually got annoyed with me and stopped calling me and offering me with movie offers after that. But I do think that I did take many positive things from this competition. For example, I did get some experience getting up on a stage and giving a speech to many people. I got valuable tips from a tutor, how to interact with the audience, how to convince them with your opinion, and I think that's going to be useful for my dream. I want to be a diplomat, and speaking skills are very important in that area. You need to persuade people, you need to move them to your country's benefit, and in that matter, I believe that this competition gave me positives and negatives as well.